welcome back to another episode of Author Interviews with Jazz and Prose. I am your host, Sai, and today we are here with the lovely Dorcas Renee for her latest book, Wait What? Miss Renee, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I'm excited to be here. This is a good way to end the week.
Absolutely. Happy Friday, by the way. You're so
Friday.
right. Yes. Okay. So we're gonna jump right in because I have a lot of questions for Miss Renee because these books, you guys are gonna be so intrigued. Okay. So here on the screen, we do have let me go here. We have two books, but we're focusing on Wait What. So the first one
Mhm,
is Y'all Chose This, The Diaries of Trina Pardo.
mhm.
And then we have Wait What? Uh, the Decimation of Lady Liberty. Okay, so go ahead, jump in. I love to start with covers
Okay.
design. So
Mhm.
go ahead and tell us about how you design the covers for these books.
Yeah, sure. And just so you know, call me Dorcas. Don't call me Miss Renee. Dorcas is good.
Okay.
But the way I got these, I actually work with what I call a book doula, and her name is Heather Hutzel, and it's she is the owner of Red Golden Publishing. And she helped me sort of whittle down my idea for the cover because I came in with a lot of ideas. And so, for example, with Wait What, I actually had seen someone's art on Facebook and I loved it. And I knew exactly what I wanted it to look like. But she was using AI. And while I guess I could use AI, there it's questionable. And
Yeah.
so Heather and I talked about it and we worked. I tried to work with an artist, but I wasn't getting exactly what I wanted. And so we'd been talking about what I wanted to convey. And so I wanted the image of the flag, but not to have it so huge. And just the sense of the title, like there's decimation.
Yeah.
And Lady Liberty is still holding strong, but she's being raked over the coals. And so
Yeah.
I wanted a cover that would be really evocative and provocative.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that. Okay. We got to get it. I have so many questions, like I said.
Okay.
We're jumping right in. Okay. So, Miss Dorcas, okay, tell us how did you come about writing? Okay. Has this always been a part of you, or just tell us your background so we can get to know you a bit more as an author?
Yeah, sure. I grew up wanting to be three things: a writer, a swimmer, and then later a psychologist. And so I didn't do the writing piece because it wasn't practical. I didn't know any writers in my life, in my vicinity, and so it just didn't seem practical. I did end up studying social work, so I'm a licensed clinical social worker, and so I get the counseling piece. I gave up on swimming. The
It's
you
never
know
too late. It's never
it's
too
not too
late.
late. It's not too late. But actually, my other love is dance. So
Okay.
I always wanted to be a writer. And after I got divorced in 2007, lost my voice, my sense of ability to be seen and heard. Um, and ended up going to a storytelling event, and it was such a warm and welcoming environment that I said I was going to get on stage by the end of the summer. I did, and that started something. I started writing plays. I wrote a children's book. I started a novel, but I didn't really finish it. But just my voice came back, and I found myself again as a writer.
I love that. I
Mhm.
love that. It's a journey. Life is a journey. We go
Yeah,
through, so many
yeah.
different things.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, let's go ahead here and talk about specifically your latest book. Give us the rundown. Let the people out there know what this book
But
is
waiting.
about. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So Wait What is the second in what I call a very loose series. You don't have to have read Y'all Chose This to get it, but it is the story of one of the characters from y'all chose this. And he is a refugee from Sierra Leone. And this takes place years after he's been in the US. He has children, he has a life here. And we look at what happened to him, how he got here, but really the focus of the story are his children, his 3 children who were born in the US, and don't know anything about Sierra Leone. The US is their home, but with the stroke of a pen, birthright citizenship is abolished, and America has redefined citizen as someone who has 4 US born parents, grandparents, and 2 US born parents. And so, given that their father is a refugee or was a refugee, they are no longer considered American citizens. And it's really the story of what happens to them. How do we define what citizenship is? Where is home? How do we have safety even when the world has been upended?
Wow. Take a
Yes.
breath, guys. I know that's it's very
It sounds,
timely.
it is, and it sounds really serious, but there are funny, heartening parts. So don't let the whole
Yes,
story scare you.
yes, yes, yes. But I think it's very interesting. I think it's very relatable for a lot of people, unfortunately,
Yes.
right now. And for the people, I know most people know where Sierra Leone is. But I think given what we're seeing now, a lot of people solely focus on the Latin community, and
Yeah.
they don't think like, oh, there's actually so many other places in the world that this is affecting as well. And so tell us about the inspiration. How
Mhm.
in the world, Miss Dorcas, did you say, you know what, I'm gonna write a book about this?
Because, the easiest way to answer that is that it is the outgrowth of my own anxieties. I finished Wait What in 2019 when I fully expected Donald Trump to be elected for a second time. And during the first term, he had been talking about no anchor babies and birthright citizenship, and there was a lot of rumbling. And that terrified me, right? Like, because
Mhm.
you could see the writing on the wall of where we were going. And y'all chose this as also sort of the outgrowth of all the things that I was seeing happening. And I would play them out in my mind, and nobody really wanted to talk about it. It was like, no, America would never do that. That could never be us. Yo, poor little Tab, poor little Dorcas, she don't know what she's talking about. And so it was my way of externalizing all of the things that I was feeling and hearing and seeing, in a way that I could metabolize it. And that's through stories.
Mm, I love that. I love that. And it really touches me, in the heart when I think about this topic, because I'm an educator and literally my first year of teaching was COVID.
Oh,
And I literally had a, new teacher, and then they put me as a teacher for the emergent bilingual
mhm,
students who were literally, they just came to the US yesterday.
mhm,
They don't speak
mhm.
English. And it wasn't, once again, just the Latin community. I had people from Thailand, people from Africa, people from Russia, and I learned. That's when I learned, because I think a lot of people in America, they don't understand the depths of the whole immigration, deportation, birthright, having your papers. A lot of students say, Miss, I don't have my papers. And I'm like, you didn't do your homework? What are you talking about? Like, I don't know, I don't know what that means. And then I learned, and
Right.
I was like, oh, wow,
Mhm,
this
mhm.
is deep. This
Yeah.
is, so that's when I got introduced to this whole topic. So I think it's very important. And I think a lot of people, it will open their eyes to actually see that this is America. This
Yeah.
is what the fabric, and I love that you had Lady Liberty in the background of the book there. So what was your process like writing the book? Like, how long did it take? Do you use pencil and paper? Do you use your phone?
Yeah, no, I'm strictly a laptop girl. I go to there's a local brewery which is literally less than a mile from my home, and
Mhm.
I like writing there because it has enough chaos and enough
Mm,
stuff that's going on that my ADHD brain can multitask
yeah.
and focus.
Wow.
And so that was what I did. It's interesting, in terms of process, that's where I would go to write. I have a difficult time writing at home because my patterns are already set at home. But in terms of getting down to the business of writing,
Mhm.
um, when the story is ready, she's ready and she comes, and it's like food, right? Like I want to get to it. So I got to do my work. I got to do what I got to do,
Yeah.
but I'm chomping at the bit to get there. So I've learned to allow the story to percolate. And I have certain scenes that I know that I want to write that are anchors, but then I let it flow. And when she's ready, I give her space to do her thing.
Yeah, I love that. You've dropped so many gems right there. Now, I want to say, what's the longest period of writer's block that you've had, you would say?
Let's see. Probably I would say a year, maybe a
Okay.
year and a half. Um, and mainly because again, sort of split focus, right? Like
Mhm.
marketing the book, lifing
Yeah.
life, and not really being able to tap into that story piece. But there was a significant time where stories weren't coming at all, right? Like
Mhm.
usually if I'm
Mhm.
driving or if I'm silent or I see something, a story will come. But it was silence for
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
year. Um, yeah.
That's the word slips me what I want to say. But the what I want to call it. But when you say that it was silent, so when you write, okay, because I want to be clear, what is your definition of writer's block? So because some people think it's what is it called? Discipline.
Mhm.
And then other people think like you say, the story has to come to me. So for you, when you say writer's block, is it that you're not disciplined to sit there and let a story come, or is it that you want to be motivated by the characters talking to you, like, okay, I'm ready to?
Yeah, it's such a good question because i- in my um in my most charitable moment, I would say it's just when the stories aren't coming.
Okay.
And so I'm just sort of empty.
Okay.
But
Okay.
it's sort of like what came first, the chicken or the egg? If I were more disciplined and doing the thing that all writers
Mhm.
said that you're supposed to do, like sit
Yeah.
down in front of the computer for an hour a day, and even if you just write and the boy jumped over the moon, right, get in
Yeah.
that habit.
Yeah.
But to me, that feels like pushing on a boulder,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
And when I'm sitting there and nothing is actually coming, I feel demoralized and it makes me not want to do it. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, maybe if I were more disciplined, the stories would come, but I
Mm.
go to when are the stories coming? And then I,
Yeah. I think I agree with you. I think I'm like that too. I think for me, it's almost like forcing myself to write is almost like crossing a boundary for my characters. I'm
I'm
like, they're not ready. They haven't told
ready.
me what you're making me force. But yes, I do think that if you're a writer, having some type of routine where you do it, something daily, then you would.
Hmm.
Yeah. What advice would you have for people who would say, I have an idea for a story and they
Hmm.
want to write a book, but they don't know, what advice would you give them in general?
What helped me is a couple of things: being in the company of other writers or creatives, because creatives think and speak and see the world in a different way. And so that just kind of percolates something for me.
Mhm.
Um, the other thing that really helped me is getting up and telling a story. It doesn't have to be a full blown book. Do a
Mhm.
5-minute story. If you have the moth story hour or the story theater in your area, go. Even if you don't get picked to go up on stage, go with the idea of a story. If you have, I was fortunate enough to live in the DC area. There are a couple of different story platforms. Story District is where I started. I'm now doing more with Story Extreme. They have classes on storytelling. So if you don't have anything in your area, look them up, because I'm sure that they would do stuff online. But anything like that, an improv class, something that kind of kicks you into that mode, but then opens it up, that it doesn't have to be a full book automatically, right? It's sometimes just sort of priming the pump so that the stories are ready to speak to you.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing advice, Dorcas. I love that. Okay, really quickly, I feel like we are at our trivia time. We have a quick little trivia. Okay, and this is author edition of Would You Rather. Okay, so Dorcas, we're going to have you pick a number from 1 to 4.
All right, and I've watched a couple of your shows, so I'm not choosing number 3.
Okay.
I refuse to choose number 3. So I'm going to go with number 2.
Number 2. Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Dorcas. Okay. So would you rather see one of your books, okay, turn into a Netflix series or quoted in a TED Talk?
Oh, that's so hard, because they're different parts of me. The extra part of me is like Netflix all the way, but then the intellectual says TED Talks. But I'm actually going to say Netflix. I mean, the reality is that intellectual part is much smaller than the extra part.
Yeah, I get it, and I get it. I would do the same thing. And there was a lady on, she was like, "Oh, TED Talk for sure," and I'm like, "Okay." Not Netflix, yeah, that's that. I think for a lot of writers, that is a big goal, is seeing their book turned into something on film for some people.
Yeah. Because we want people to hear our words and understand our minds. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so what's next for you, Dorcas? And how many books do you have 2, or you have more than 2 out?
I have 2 novels and a children's book.
Okay, good. Okay, so what's next?
You know what? I want to try my hand at romance. Romance is very difficult for me because I have to get out of my head that it has to be formulaic. It does have to be formulaic. There's a formula you got to follow. Otherwise, people will be like, that's not romance. But I want to try my hand at that. The issue that I'm finding is that the third installment that I had in my mind when I started writing keeps saying, okay, but you see what's happening. You need to write that. So we'll see. But my goal is romance.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. And I know that there are very loyal readers for romance. That is a very big market right there. Okay. So Dorcas, tell the people, where can they find your books if they want to get a copy?
Yeah. I'm on Amazon. You can find me at Barnes and Noble. You can find me on bookshop.com. I self-published on Amazon, so that's the easiest place to find me. But you can also hit me up at my website. I can't sell it to you from my website, but I'd love to hear from you at Dorcas Renee at dorcasrenee.com.
Oh my God, I love that so much. You're so sweet, Dorcas. I love it.
Thank
you. Yes. So guys, definitely check these books out. They're so relevant to what is happening right now in America and all over the world, being affected. So definitely check out her books, guys. Miss Dorcas, we thank you so much for stopping by. You're welcome back anytime. Okay. Yes. So guys. Yeah. I wish it could have been longer, but I know we're all busy, So, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Author Interviews with Jazz and Prose, and we will see you next time. Bye.